I'm looking for right now the exact conjunction with Saturn between with Venus and Saturn, Venus and Saturn. Well, it's happening this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday is looking pretty bad. Wednesday is looking pretty bad. Bad because when Venus, see Venus, I don't know why the feminine, it's having a hard time to begin with, but then when it has to go through this Saturn conjunct, it means that she is having a hard time on top of a hard time. And I'm here to tell you that the the organism itself cannot take it anymore. I just got that song in my head. You know, we're not gonna take it. I know we ain't gonna make it, or whatever like this. It's I don't know, but there's some other um, scenario where people are quitting their jobs. They're just saying, take this job and shove it. You know, and Saturn being it rules our jobs. It's kind of strange in Pisces though, so you have to take into consideration how strange the Saturn in Pisces really is. It's a different realm that we're dealing with these aspects that are coming on. Now we have Venus. See Venus in Pisces. I know Venus in Pisces, and she's bound to make it a beautiful thing. Even though it's a square to I mean, it's that conjunction. It's getting up close to the oppressor or just, the unfun things. She is one who is going to, now, I dare say, give Saturn a little bit less of an edge because she's in a stronger position, co-ruler of Pisces. And I think, if I'm right, no, Jupiter is. Something with her. I think it's exalted there. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm doing some foggy ass freaking astrology. Excuse me while we can make the excuse of Sun being conjunct Neptune and anybody who's trying to make sense out of anything, really. I mean, you need to go by a feeling. Go by your feelings. See, I feel great. Okay, so by March, okay, so we already had the conjunction. Well, it's happening today. Uh, Neptune is conjunct the Sun is conjunct Neptune, and I'm glad that we have some time to dream a little bit and meditate. But see, we're gonna move forward in 2 or 3 days here on the 21st. As you know, it's the new year. By the way, it's the real new year. Astrologically, you want to talk about the year of the dragon, but really it's astrological. The new year is happening here. Um, Reset with the sun going into Aries, and it's just gonna start picking up. It's like I said in the last video. If I, and I speak for the portion that doesn't do well with the binary. Now we can call it binary because I understand that it's very black and white, and that's the way the mind is. It's not a heart. It's not trinary. You can see the heart is green, I guess, but well, see, what the scientists are saying is this: it's really red and blue and then green. I find that interesting because the red and blue and green, that's the Technicolor screen. The red, blue, and green dots put together. But anyway, heart is the green. I'm glad that I got that right, at least today. Getting back to astrology, it's all hearsay, I guess, as far as a lot of people are concerned. Well, you know what the prone is, where the weak spot of the Pisces is bound to, like I said, it's that sulking, grief riddled, even sorry, you know, guilt riddled kind of feel. It's a Pisces. It's just very emotional, and so but it can easily give up and give in. That's the negative side of that. It's very empathic to the point of just reclusing and not even showing itself to the light of day. Talk about the deepest oceans that carry these creatures. That's what Pisces points at. And it's sad because we need to know. We're interested in all the different kinds of existences and the way that that it's there. We should respect it. But anyway, yeah, be careful of that. See, it doesn't have to be that way. Pisces is versatile. It wins through its yin quality. When we talk about yin, that's the feminine. It's very feminine. And talking about the feminine, unfortunately, okay, so it's unfortunate that by the time it's Wednesday and Thursday, the sun is going to be conjunct Saturn. I mean, sorry, Venus is going to be conjunct Saturn. It's the first time that Venus has been conjunct Saturn in 30 years. Like, I think it's 94, 5, 95 or 96, if you look at it, is the last time that this particular conjunction in Pisces happened with Venus. And, it happens, that's just the way you do it. It takes 30 years for Saturn to go all the way around one whole time. And so it was 30 years ago that this has happened. So you just kind of think about if it does aspect to you, and then you kind of look into it and think, well, what was happening around that time? Which I can't believe it was 1995, 96. It's like, whoa. And we can't deny how quickly time does fly. But anyway, and that's why you want to never get involved with a narcissist, because it's a perfect waste of time. It's not worth it. It's not worth it any time. Anyway, so 11:22. I'm going to try to continue on with doing some vague astrology. I'm just actually having a strange time. I'm changing. We're all changing, and if anything, it's time to dream. It's time to really relax and listen. Really take a deep breath. See, this is the most beneficial thing about knowing astrology is we can dial in on these times of Pisces where it's still it's at the latest degree, 27, 28, 29. Each degree has its personality, especially going into the late degrees. It starts to get heavy and very immersed in the subject matter that it is. Pisces, in this case, is very dreamland. We're talking about the entire oceanic pot of existential reality, not just the ocean, but that's the way to grasp it, kids. But we have a universe of the living stuff, and they were just trying to tell us that, oh, there's huge dragons that fly around, and they don't. I don't know why we haven't been gobbled up, but I think they're gobbling up something out there, and we got to eat something, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, don't be afraid to go away from the matrix of the mind. Listen to something else. Put on some great music if you need to. I advise going to a very, very, very quiet place, and also just turn off all the Wi-Fi as much as you can. You need to go out into Mother Nature, but that quiet place is and the wilderness of the, the natural vibrations of especially water, moving water. See, what I want to get now that it's getting really loud out there, and I did notice that the lights are going up. It's like, you guys aren't impressing anybody. The way you impress the longest staying people here, which we know you don't care about us, but let's tell you who we are, we are your spiritual leaders. where you forgot completely the intention as to why we come in the mountains. If you're throwing asphalt around and then putting not just lights up, babes. If it's LED lights and lights hooked directly in with that, not solar. You should go solar and try and make it soft lighting and as in like not LED because it's poisonous. It's poisonous. You don't care. You don't care. Some people are so strung out right now, and it's not us that kind of see it and they say, well, this is so many reasons. It's overwhelming. So it is overwhelming, but I don't know. Drop it. I'm dropping it. See, that's where I'm. It's like, okay, yeah, no, I've lived in a stupid city before. Now that you're gonna convert it into a city, sure, we can be people that. The thing is, and I know I've said this in videos before, and I'm gonna say it here. I'm gonna bother to say it. Is that even not even the city, not even a jailhouse, has the most. It's off the charts here because of how young the place is and how people were living differently. It's not the city. And it's not a jailhouse. See, it's a better environment than that. But it was the same in that people knew where they were. They're like, oh wow, we can hear each other down the block. We wonder what's happening if we hear something, especially a helicopter. We just kind of know, oh, something went. It's either a lost person up in the forest or somebody fell off a rock or there's a car accident. It was only a few things, but now it's like it could be anything. That has increased, and then so just telling you my story, not only just me knowing what it was like 35 years ago, but before then with my even my great grandparents, the kind of people that were living in intention, and they kept it a certain way. Because they were living in intention. See, the new people, so called, that the ranger agrees, no, the new people of Idlewild, they're the ones who coined that first. Because I'm calling and complaining, say, whoa, look at the asphalt that's being flung around. It could go in the waterway right here. It is so toxic. I'm the only one fighting for this? Apparently so. It feels like I'm here to tell you, really, I'm not foreboding or saying trying to be negative, but if you haven't noticed, and you're probably not noticing, but I have yet to make this video. I'm gonna go into town and show everybody every single tree, every single pine tree, and to see this is why I kind of like I don't want to be here anymore. It's like, oh, this place is dying like rapidly, and the trees might be giving off a certain pain signal. I'm just glad that my trees don't really look that bad, but guess what? The neighbors' do. And I don't like it. They have some kind of strange disease on them. It's not the usual, which turns them orange or something like that, because this is something that just kind of stays and it whittles down the juices on all of the pine needles. It makes them fall. There are a little something on there. There's just who knows what the chemtrails are spraying, but I can see it everywhere on every tree. I don't really see it on my trees. And it's weird because really I look at all these trees. They're my friends. I just love them as the most familiar faces that I've ever known all my life. And I continue to look at them. I certainly my trees I do that, but I've done that with other trees here, and they're still staying healthy. And that's one of the ways you want to keep things healthy is to love them and just praise them. And they're providing a service when they start to turn in certain colors or show unhealth and even die just voluntarily, whatever they do, whether it's giving us wood, but really what I mean is they're showing us how dangerous the waters are getting and the air and how they are getting, the people themselves, because, well, God, if they're leaving them, like when you drive up and down the highway here, the place where it burned a few years ago, it should have been cleaned up. Where there's, I mean, we can understand to leave it natural, but that wasn't really a natural fire. It's something called black burn, and it kind of made it like still. It's almost like it's petrified because there is a layer of something on it. So, but what should be going on is that they at least cut it down and lay it down because then it starts to fertilize and there's new growth and everything. But now there's and it's just waiting to burn and even hotter than ever before and do the job right. I don't know. It's sure looking like it, but it's looking more like, babes, nobody is being present to it. And if this is happening here, and I think yes, it's happening here. Yeah, what I mean is it's happening here. It's happening everywhere across the globe. That very few, compared to what's here, is being present to the planet. And it's so good for you to get out there. But I'm here to tell you. I mean, I hate to, God, this fucking Venus conjunct Saturn. It's not very fun for us. We got to talk about it. They give out to people that they've made them allergic to the sun, to the grass, to animals. This has been happening for a long time now. And there's a way to do antidote it. There's a way to fix it. They have done so much torture, though, on the human organism, the very body, to people that end up in a certain way. And it's like, well, did you consider what kind of vaccine they took? Sorry. The more and more I say that word, the more they can, later on, they'll find it and suspend me for a week. But I'm here to say something shocking and leave. But I was trying to talk about this Venus, and that's it's going to happen here coming up. And the good thing about it is that women, some women, are going to have to drop their fantasy. They're going to have to drop their fantastic uh, um, mindset and go more practical, and that includes, what are you working on? That's what Saturn. I want to tell you something. With Venus conjunct Saturn, the feminine is getting kind of trapped and questioned by Saturn. Is rules the police. So it's woman, who I say it's because it's Saturn. I mean, it's because it's Pisces. She's a little bit too wishy-washy there. She might be imagining and be too idealistic, right? Like, and also, yeah, it's not just always fairy tale. It's not always what you think like that. So she's going to be pulled up upon by authority of something. It's going to be happening this week. It's just find out what it is. It's like, well, no, that's a little bit too out of hand. And she's going to have to be sit down and read some rules. And Pisces, and I'm just here to tell you with this conjunction right here on, have confidence that there is discipline for that energy. See, I can only stick up for the divine feminine, but there is the very undivine feminine who is, thanks a lot. You're actually ruining men and the possibility of the divine feminine from emerging, let alone the divine masculine from being protected and encouraged with the right intelligence to build what? If the divine masculine doesn't have a divine feminine there, he doesn't really know what the fuck to do. Doesn't have to be that it's just completely unconscious and doing biological intelligence. Really, there are people that can collaborate and set an example for everybody and say, no, we're going to make a difference this way. It's not really see, there's a society of people working stencils, right? That's where you get the holidays. Narcissists love their holidays, and they're putting it on in their bubbles of their people, and but they're in their personal relationships now. It just falls apart, right? I mean, they come together when it's. I mean, in an extreme, you have couples that do this. I've heard many stories about this. I hate talking about this fucking shit anyway because I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with the superficial, like the muckety muck of the second. They called it the secondhand smoke of society, which is people that just aren't turned on, genuinely turned on yet. I say that. What I mean is that their hearts, they're not plugged into reality. And the truth isn't like the main thing. They're trying to hold something together with the mind, Um, that it's there enough that the truth has to, sometimes the truth just has to sit in the back seat. Sorry, because we don't even think like that. It's like, oh, that's too bad because there's something to learn, way beyond your limits there, which is the mind. Passing the mind around and down too. I mean, talk about the secondhand smoke of society. Trying, I'm sorry, but with Venus conjuncting Saturn, it's not always going to mean that the feminine is going to be sat down and read her rules and take away her imagination. No. In fact, there could be a very refined version of the feminine which is embodied in both. There isn't a lopsidedness going on. Men need justice along the lines of dealing with the feminine. It's a place where, that vulnerability, that's what narcissist thinks as a weakness. It's a way to get in. Like I said, it's a trampoline. They just figure you just strung up a trampoline and they're gonna bounce up all up on top of it. Yay! You need a partner. You want a relationship. They have fucked that. They fucked that up for themselves a long time ago. I mean, they're not really good at it anyway. I mean, that's one of the things that they go right after, right? I mean, I just think that that's the answer. It's like, no, I have a relationship with everything. You have a relationship with everything, really. How are you doing with that fucking traveling? Are you even learning how to flip around on it? Or are you just wasting everybody's time? I'm just kidding, because I'm not really that good for it too, but know what you're good at and stick with that. Stop doing things that you're not good at. Relationships could be one of them. Nah, I don't really stick with anything one solid like that, and you can't. Not with the Venus and all the Pisces still in the air. It's not a solid thing. What I mean is, when we're talking about this, especially when it comes to relationships, I think that, see, I can only come from the, oh boy, are you listening to this? I can only come from the woman's perspective, and she has a profound responsibility. I've talked about this before, and she needs to communicate. It's so very nebulous. It's like, well, both of them have to get in touch with their body, feel good, feel good, feel good, because, and then, how do we share that with each other? Because there's an opposite there. There's a way to do it. And this is in case this formula. Just the bottom line in general, we maintain the feel good thing that isn't upside down and backwards strung up. And this is just, if you ever experienced the human body for a little bit without the suggestion of where money is coming from, like the worry of money and how and other people just stuck on that web. The stuff that's going on around me, I can see it's a game. It's a game that only money can play. And it's like, you know what, you people are being very, number one, it's unloving. Money can do something different than what it's doing as far as how it's allowing this game to be played. It could be doing something different. And I say that we could be doing something different to where we don't even need it. I know this. I can see it more and more. I'm like, no, yeah, no, it's called having skills and being creative. There's plenty of, it's not a philosophy, it's the truth. It's very scientific, I'm sure. It's kind of spiritual because you just put it down and you look at it like you're a ghost looking at the fucking civilization. It's like, well, it's the one who has passion for a subject matter like growing grapes that makes the wine, and it's just pure passion. They love the way it tastes after like 9 years of fermenting or whatever, and it's pure passion. It's not because of money. You get it? Anything else, everything else. It's pure passion that these stuff is enjoyable around us, that we don't get sick, especially if we don't get sick. We have a good time. Do we do we even know and feel that anymore? This is what's really scary and fucked up. This is where we are a lot of people would just relate. They're begging for their lives to end, to literally end. Why? Well, they have some kind of terminal chronic illness. Perhaps it's just the if it's not just the daily grind of being trapped and enslaved by the system. And boy, I don't want to be part of it, but I think men and women, particularly women can be entrapping men, not only because they're like probably more intelligent or they're just lethal. If they're a narcissist, they're more lethal than a man will ever be. But it's because, yeah, if they have kids, and it doesn't work out, that man is stuck in limbo unless he finds something out better than trying to make something that's not even his business to work out. Because, first of all, there is the system now. What can he do from there? I mean, right? I think everybody needs to stop what they're doing and point up the sky, point up at that money system that has everybody so retarded, and literally saying, yeah, I'll go to work to do that. And what is it? Let's pour some sulfuric acid in the water supply. Yay! Get a bonus. You mean yes, a bonus. Not even listening to what we're saying. Not even listening to what we're saying. A bonus? Yes, bonus. Somebody's running that shit.